Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of UA Eats. I'm UA, and you ever have a bad day, or maybe a bad couple of days, a bad week, maybe a bad month? Well, you know, I've kind of had a bad couple of days, and in times like these when I'm a little bit down on the dumps, I'm in need of a good meal. For me, food is not just about calories, it's not just about putting something in your stomach. For me, food just has amazing healing powers physically, healing powers mentally, emotionally. A great meal can just do wonderful things for you. So with that in mind, I am here at Gallaghers Steakhouse, a steakhouse at the northern edge of Times Square, and you know, one of the best steakhouses in New York City. And not just in my opinion, don't just take it from me. I mean, just take a look at the Google reviews. Take a look at, you know, eater rankings and things like that. I mean, I think according to Google, it might actually be the highest rated steakhouse in all of New York based upon volume and the ranking, like the score. In my opinion too, Gallagher's is hands down one of the best steakhouses. And believe me, on this channel, we've eaten many steakhouses. And there's tons of great steakhouses here in New York. So many iconic spots. Keen's, Sparks, St. Anselm's is a great spot, but Gallagher's Steakhouse, I think so far, I think for me, it's hard to top it based upon the quality and the taste of the steak. Rough week, it's time for a pick-me-up, so Gallaghers Steakhouse, it can be tough to get a reservation here. I do not have a reservation at all, so you know, just to walk in, it could potentially be problematic, but they usually have seat at the bar. I've eaten here many times, so I think the odds are in my favor, so let's chance it, why don't we? All right, guys, so we are inside Gallaghers Steakhouse. You know, I've been here quite many times, and I actually filmed the part one here, if you guys remember. My part one at Gallaghers Steakhouse, I specifically tried their filet mignon lunch special, which is still one of the best lunch specials, I think, in the whole city. But today we're gonna try something else, because, you know, I need a real pick-me-up, and plus I wanna try something different. So for part two, we're gonna try potentially their rib steak. One of the best steaks I think I've ever had. That and their New York strip here are also excellent, both excellent. Let me show you the atmosphere here real quick. I was lucky to get a seat. I saw that huge line of people waiting to sit down, but as I predicted, if you come here planning to eat at the bar, it's not gonna be too bad. Usually you can get a seat, although it looks like today I was pretty lucky. And actually, this is off-peak time. It's 1:40 p.m. I thought that it wasn't gonna be that crowded. 1:40 p.m., this place is getting pretty popular amongst locals and tourists. Seems like there's more tourists here than last time, but I'm not sure. Hard to tell. Let's go over the menu real quick. So, it is lunchtime, so we have the lunch menu here, and let me show you, these prices could be a lot worse, right? I mean, all the salads are around 15, 16. Okay, so steak tartare is 18 bucks, but everything is looking pretty reasonable if you ask me. You know, you got your shrimp cocktails as well, oysters, typical steakhouse classics. Last time I came here, this lunch special was 29 bucks. With inflation, it's gone up but 3 bucks, but 32 bucks is still not bad if you ask me. And it's generous. You get an appetizer, you get an entree, including filet mignon as an option, and you get a dessert. So that New York cheesecake is incredible. Let me see if they'll let me upgrade this lunch special to the rib steak. I'll ask if that's a thing, but otherwise they got New York sirloin, porterhouse. Not gonna do a huge porterhouse by myself. New York sirloin is their New York strip. I'm tempted to get that, but you know what? I want the rib steak, I'm gonna get the rib steak. So maybe we'll grab one of these, you know, these salads, just so that we're not only eating meat, and then we'll see if we can't get that rib steak. So trust me, it's gonna be great. Let's order. I think I'm ready, yeah. So I will do the wedge salad, or actually, this 3-course lunch special, is it possible to get one of the other steaks and like upgrade it? You can't do that?
No, you just buy the steak. It's always gonna work out in your favor. Just buy the salad and the steak.
Got it, okay. All right, good advice. I'll do the white salad. Yeah.
And then the rib, how do you want it cooked?
Medium rare, yep.
Good. No worries, you want a side?
Sorry?
Side dish?
I'll just do the white salad.
Want anything to drink besides water?
Water's good.
You're good.
Thank you. All right, can't wait. I also do want to show that at the bar, you're still getting, you know, a lot of the full service. I mean, the bartenders here are complete professionals. So even sitting at the bar, it's not like you're just eating off of wood, you know? They still give you the tablecloth and everything. Although I guess this silverware is a bit askew. Can't wait for my delicious rib steak. Rib steak, by the way, is basically a ribeye, just with the bone still attached. Not a tomahawk, but you know, with a little bit of bone. You'll see. All right, so they brought the bread and the butter. We're just gonna zoom through the bread review since we tried this last time on the part 1. So watch part 1 if you would like a more in-depth review of the bread and the butter. But let's just try one of these sesame seeded pieces of bread real quick. Bon appetit. Butter is super creamy and rich. I actually think that the sesame seed bread is a little bit too sesame studded. I guess this just depends on how much you like sesame, but I think it's slightly too much. I think they could do with a little bit less sesame. It's a little, it's like all I taste is the sesame and not really much of the bread underneath. Although at least it's a nice toasted sesame flavor. This butter, guys, is so smooth and creamy and like it's not like whipped butter. It's like a hard butter, but it's super smooth and spreadable butter. And the finishing salt on top is a nice touch too, but that's gonna be it, I think, for the bread review. Watch part 1 if you want to see the rest of it. Thank you so much. All right, and just look at this huge wedge salad they brought us. Oh man, it's so big that it's casting like a big shadow. It's not, it's gonna be difficult to film, you know, to find good lighting because of that, but they gave me like pretty much like half a, you know, a head of lettuce on this guy, and the blue cheese crumble, thick chunks of bacon. Oh man, obligatory random slice of tomato at the bottom. I don't think that's necessary. I don't remember that last time, but the rest of this guy is looking great. So I think we're gonna have to topple this tower because otherwise I think that's too thick to take bites out of. So timber. And let me show you how I like to go about this. Cut off a piece, bacon, and some blue cheese in every bite. So wow. It may not look the way I remembered, but it tastes exactly the same, and that's all that matters. Just a fantastic wedge salad. Like I was worried it might be too much dressing, but not at all. I'm almost wondering about if the backside here might not have enough, because this dressing is not too strong. It's got like a perfect consistency. It's not too creamy, not too rich. It's subtle and flavorful at the same time. Oh man, look at these pieces of bacon. Just, you know, got a nice sear. Look at that sear on that bacon. It's almost just like a sear on the steak. It's like a sear that's gonna rival the steak. And this blue cheese, these bites of blue cheese, oh man. This blue cheese is just to die for. Like it adds like a funky, you know, extra cheesy, but like a funky, you know, sort of like that fermented bite. It goes perfectly with the cool lettuce, the dressing, you know, like the subtle yet flavorful creamy dressing. And then you get some seared oily bacon cut into big chunks. We got a little bit on every bite, and it was hard to balance, but we got some on every bite. Whoa. The blue cheese literally makes the whole thing. Oh, I wonder where they're getting that blue cheese from. Oh, I wish I knew so I could eat that at home. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Steak sauce, and here salt. When I send a large steak, I always hit a little sea salt. Give it your best salt there, man.
Thank you. I love that the service here is not pretentious at all. The guy said, give it your best Salt Bay impression, so I plan to do that. Well, baby, our rib steak has arrived. Like I said, this is a ribeye, but it just has a bone. Or actually, no, I misspoke. There are bone-in ribeyes, but this rib steak just has a longer bone, but it's not quite a tomahawk. I guess the tomahawk is just even longer. Like, I guess this wouldn't quite be a tomahawk. I guess this would be like a hatchet if I were to carry it in the battle. By appearances though, tomahawk or hatchet or whatever, I have no axe to grind with this steak because this looks absolutely beautiful and just the way I remembered. And I'm probably gonna keep this bone too. Keep it and make some bone broth or something so I have some nourishment throughout the week. Oh man, delicious rib cap right there. Might go for that first. And their steak sauce. Their steak sauce is kind of tomato based. It's kind of like marinara slash tomato sauce. Kind of like a cocktail slash a pasta sauce, sort of in flavor. I don't think we'll really need it, but maybe we'll give it a try regardless. Because with meat this good, you don't want to use any sauces to cover it up if you can help it. So let's just grab it by the handle and quickly see. Sear on both sides, grill marks on the bottom, and sear on top. I like it that way. Smoky flavor coming from the bottom, crunchy sear on top. Best of both worlds. So let's do it. Rib cap first. Very likely the most delicious part of the whole cow, the rib cap. You know, it tastes good. It's a little less fatty than I was hoping for. Or no, I mostly taste the fat and less of the flavor, less of the beefy flavor that I was hoping to get. But perhaps I just got unlucky. So let's cut into the center. Ooh, just look at how tender this guy is. Let's check the doneness right through the middle. Yeah, that looks like a medium rare to me. Maybe slightly medium, like in between medium and medium rare, but that looks like a good cook, if you ask me. Yep, oh my goodness. Beautifully cooked steak. Okay, maybe a little medium, but within acceptable range for me. It's possible that they had it rest a little bit longer, so maybe that pushed it to the brink a bit. But that's a great cook if you ask me. And another thing that I like is that I don't like that places like Ruth's Chris, you know, they gotta drown their steaks in butter to make them taste good. Here, it's just the natural juices emanating from the steak itself. Just the flavor of the beef itself and nothing else to mask its flavor. Just look again at how tender this guy is. Wow. Like the flexibility of this steak is gonna give Simone Biles a run for her money. Wow. All right. You know, it's remarkably tender. It's a very, very a marble piece of meat. So that fat melts and makes this guy super tender. Like this meat is so tender that, you know, it's comparable to filet mignon in terms of tenderness. But I guess, I don't know, maybe I just got unlucky. Maybe it's because I ordered a dinner item during lunch, but I remember the dry aged flavor being stronger last time, and it's a little bit less salty, less seasoned than before. So maybe that's why they add the finishing salt. So I guess we'll just salt bay this one piece, right? See if that helps. So we got a little bit of salt on this guy now. So maybe this will help. Actually, that salt made a big difference. Because I think this guy was just ultimately missing seasoning at the end of the day. And it just needed some salt just to bring out all its natural flavor. And you know, salt is essential in any dish just to bring out its innate properties. I kind of prefer if they pre-salt it, pre-salt and pepper it, and really cook that seasoning into the steak while it's cooking, but not sure why they made that decision, but it is what it is, I guess. Oh. If you don't have hypertension, don't be shy with the salt, guys, because it really, really helps to bring out the flavor, and it just depends on what part of the steak you get. If you get some of the fatty bits of this rib steak, flavor explosion in your mouth. The more lean pieces slightly leave a bit to be desired, but the good pieces still good. So I guess the steak up and down. A little bit more salt. Let's try dipping it in the steak sauce. See if that jazzes this guy up. All right.
Not always gonna be like. Do you want coffee, anything? Every time he comes, 1 point during the steak will come to.
Yeah, so I mean, the sauce is decent. I mean, like I said, it kind of makes it, it kind of turns it into like a red pasta flavor. So I don't know, it's a good steak sauce, but I feel like for ribeye, rib steaks, you don't really want it to cover up the flavor of the ribeye steak. Usually you don't want that. Usually a sauce like this, usually this would pair more so with like filet mignon, I think. In this case, it does amplify it because I will say that while parts of the steak are nice and fatty and delicious, parts of it, while tender, are kind of really lacking that dry aged flavor that I was really excited about, which Gallagher's is usually known for. And I do think potentially I got unlucky, but yeah, it is a bit of a letdown. But it looks like this half is still good, so let's eat a little more of this. Share final thoughts outside. I will get this to go. How much is the key lime pie?
$14 all the desserts.
All right, I'll do one of those.
One of the key limes, and you want to wrap that?
I'll get this to go, yep. Actually, I was gonna wrap up the review, but I just realized that I've never tried their key lime pie here. They have a really good cheesecake, or they used to. But the key lime pie is always on the lunch menu, and I always wanted to try it, so we'll get it a la carte and see how it is.
Key lime pie.
Thank you. All right, the key lime pie. I've always wanted to try this, never had it, and let me say that this is a generous slice. The lunch special, the cheesecake I really like. I wonder if they cut it in half because this looks literally twice as big as the cheesecake I got last time. Maybe the lunch special kicks it down a notch. I like this lime decoration, but just gonna knock this off and dive right into this. Ooh, smooth key lime pie. All right. Oh, too big of a bite. One sec. I want to keep all layers intact, so let's, there you go. Cut it into a more manageable piece. All right. Wow. Oh, let me go back for that other half. Wow, very, very, very good. This key lime pie doesn't just taste like lime, it's like you're feeling that like fresh lime juice in your mouth. Like it really tastes like a freshly squeezed lime, not just like artificial lime flavor. I will just say right now, I'm not a big expert on how key lime pie is made, but I just love this cream on top. Adds like a little fluffy texture. The inside, just so silky smooth, bursting with fresh lime flavor. I guess the graham cracker bottom could stand to be a little crunchier, but I don't mind that. That's just a nitpick. This key lime pie has like the smoothness, the texture of like the smoothest cheesecake. Only it's like a lime flavored cheesecake, more or less. Wow. I'm so glad I decided to get dessert. Excellent. We'll pay and we'll share final thoughts outside. All right, guys, so I just finished eating at Gallaghers Steakhouse, and yeah, now I'm at Times Square. I'm walking through Times Square to catch the train home, and yeah, maybe I can ask Batman and Bumblebee for directions. But anyways, guys, so yeah, I just finished eating at Gallaghers, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I was feeling kind of down, and I wanted a nice meal to really pick me up, and for the most part, Gallaghers did that for me. Although I will say that while I liked most dishes, especially that key lime pie, wow, that was one of the best slices of pie I've had in a really, really long time. I think that was even better than the key lime pie I had in Key West, Florida. But otherwise, the steak though, I mean, it's Gallaghers Steakhouse. It's not just Gallaghers fancy restaurant. So it's all about the steak, you know? In fact, it even says there, Gallaghers Steakhouse. So I felt that overall the steak was still an overall good steak and it looked really impressive, but it just didn't have that dry aged flavor that it used to, that dry aged flavor that I remember. I mean, it was incredibly tender. The bits of the steak that had the marbling and that fat burst in your mouth, oh, that was delicious. And I think dry aging, it evaporates water and it shrinks the steak and helps to concentrate that fat. So parts of the steak still tasted pretty good, but other parts tasted, I don't know, just really lacking dry aged flavor. And while they were tender, I just felt like the steak maybe was not dry aged as much as it used to be. That's the impression that I got, but who knows? I mean, maybe I just got unlucky. Maybe, maybe I just got unlucky with a less good piece. It happens, right? So, but for the most part, everything else I had was pretty good. For the most part, I think Gallagher's did the trick for me. It was overall a solid meal that really helped to, pick me up. So, the healing power of food. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here because it's pretty crowded and yeah, there's a lot of tourists. So, what do you guys think of my review? Do you think that Gallagher's lives up to the hype as the best reviewed steakhouse in New York City? Do you think Gallagher's is one of the best steakhouses, or do you have a place that you prefer? Let me know in the comments because great minds eat alike. And as always, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe. That way you stay up to date whenever I post another video. And time to head home with our delicious leftovers. So until next time, I'll see you later.